I remember the first day Mia walked into our classroom. The whispers started before she even sat down. Why does she walk like that? Look at her leg braces. She talks weird. Mia had cerebral palsy. Her legs didn't move the way ours did, and her speech was slow, deliberate. Kids could be cruel without even realizing it. They didn't mean to be monsters. They just didn't understand. I wish I could say I stood up for her right away. But I didn't. I just watched. The bullying at first, it was the little things. The kind of cruelty that slips under the radar, because adults don't always see it. Or worse, they pretend not to. Mia walked differently. Her steps careful, deliberate. Her leg braces clicking softly against the linoleum floors. Some kids found that funny. A few would nudge each other when she passed, smirking as they exaggerated their own strides, swaying their hips in mocking imitation. Others would fake clear their throats when she spoke, mimicking the way her words sometimes came out slow and uneven. She never reacted, just kept her chin up and kept moving. But kids like that don't stop when you ignore them. They get louder. One morning, I saw Mia climbing the stairs, gripping the railing tight, taking them one at a time. Behind her, Tyler Dawson, a kid who thought he was hilarious, barked out a laugh and pretended to stumble, flailing his arms like he was about to fall. "Whoa guys, it's so hard," he cackled, and his friends joined in, staggering around like they were on a rocking boat. Mia didn't turn around, she just kept climbing. But then it got worse. One day in the hallway, someone stuck out their foot, just enough, and Mia went down hard. Her books scattered, her palms skidding against the floor. A few kids gasped, some laughed, most just watched. I remember the way she looked, not even surprised, just tired. She pushed herself up, wiped her hands on her jeans, and started gathering her papers. No tears, no yelling, just that same quiet determination. And the thing was, that made them angrier. Because bullies don't just want a reaction, they want power. And Mia refused to give it to them. The worst moment came at lunch. I was sitting a few tables away when I saw a group of boys circle her. They weren't even trying to hide it. One of them, Ryan, a loudmouth, who thought he ruled the school, started performing for his friends, dragging one leg behind him, slurring his words in a way that was supposed to be her. The others howled with laughter. Mia just sat there, her sandwich untouched, staring straight ahead like she was somewhere else. My stomach twisted. I wanted to yell, to stand up, to do something. But fear glued me to my seat. What if they turned on me next? What if speaking up just made it worse? So I did nothing. And then, something changed. Not in them. In me. Because looking at her face in that moment, I realized something. The bullies weren't the strong ones. She was. The discovery our school had a talent show coming up. The sign-up sheet hung in the hallway, for weeks. No one expected Mia to put her name down, but she did. The whispers got louder. What's she gonna do? Limp on stage? This is gonna be sad. I saw the way Mia's hands shook as she wrote her name. But she didn't back down. The day of the talent show arrived. The gym was packed. Kids were laughing, joking, waiting for the next act. When Mia's name was called, a hush fell over the crowd. She walked on stage slowly, her leg braces clicking against the floor. She sat at the piano. No one even knew she could play. Then she began. The performance. The moment Mia sat at the piano, the room changed. At first, there were still a few snickers, some whispered jokes. But then, her fingers touched the keys, and everything stopped. The first note was soft, hesitant, like she was testing the air. Then the next came, stronger, and then music. Not just notes, not just a song, but something alive. It was like she had cracked open her chest and let everything inside pour out. I don't know what the piece was called, something classical, probably, but it didn't matter, because this wasn't just music, it was her. The slow, aching parts, that was the loneliness. The sharp, sudden chords, that was the anger, the frustration of being laughed at every day. The soaring, hopeful melody in the middle, that was her. The real her, the one none of us had bothered to see. I glanced around. Sarah Jenkins, who had once fake coughed every time Mia spoke in class, was gripping the edge of her seat. Jake Miller, the guy who accidentally knocked her books out of her hands last week, had his mouth slightly open. Mrs. Carter, our usually strict math teacher, had tears running down her face. And then the music built. Faster, louder, like a storm breaking. Mia's fingers flew, her body swaying slightly with the rhythm. For the first time, she wasn't the girl with the leg braces, the girl who walked funny. She was powerful. The final notes were quiet again, just a few soft keys, fading like a whisper, then silence. Not the awkward kind, the kind where no one even breathes too loud, and then, one clap, then another. Then the whole room erupted, kids jumped to their feet, cheering. Some were crying. The boy who had tripped her last month was wiping his eyes, like he couldn't believe what he'd just heard. Mia didn't smile, she just nodded once, like she had expected this all along, like she had known what would happen if people just listened, and in that moment, we all realized. We hadn't just underestimated her, we'd failed her. But she had won anyway. The aftermath. After that day, things changed, not overnight, but slowly. Kids started holding doors for her. Someone carried her books when she dropped them. The same boys who had laughed at her now nodded at her in the hall. I finally worked up the courage to talk to her. That was amazing, I said, awkwardly. She looked at me, her eyes knowing. Thanks. I'm sorry, I blurted out. For not saying anything before. She shrugged. It's okay. People don't see me until they're ready. The lesson Mia taught me something that day. Something I'll never forget. People see what they want to see. They look at someone different. Someone who walks a little slower, speaks a little differently, who doesn't fit neatly into their idea of normal, and they make up their minds before they even know them. They laugh because it's easier than understanding. They mock because it makes them feel strong. But sometimes, life gives you a moment so clear, so undeniable, that it shatters every stupid assumption you ever had. For Mia, that moment was music. When her hands touched those piano keys, she wasn't the girl with braces, or the quiet weirdo anymore. She was power. She was talent. She was more than any of us had ever given her credit for. And in that moment, every cruel joke, every whispered comment, every time someone had pretended to stumble, or mimicked her voice, it all crumbled into nothing. Because the truth was right there, ringing through the auditorium. We had been wrong about her, completely wrong. But the real lesson wasn't just about Mia, it was about us. The way we had all stood by, the way we had laughed along, even if it was just uncomfortable chuckles to fit in. The way we had told ourselves, it's not that bad, or she doesn't even care, just so we didn't have to feel guilty. We thought we were the normal ones, the strong ones, but she was the one who faced cruelty every day, and never let it break her. She was the one who had the courage to step onto that stage, knowing people might laugh. She was the one who proved, in just a few minutes of breathtaking music, that she had been worth listening to all along. So no, Mia wasn't the weak one. We were. And that day, she didn't just play the piano, she taught us how to be better.